Samuel Bolduc has played his first game and his second one, but let's focus on that first one. How did he do in that first NHL game? It's been a while since I've given you a Pete update, and here he is. Oh, buddy, how's it going? He's massive now. There you go. I wanted to go over Samuel Bolduc's first game. I know he's played two in Toronto and Ottawa, but I wanted to go over that first one, mainly because I did that video saying what should we expect from Samuel Bolduc in his first game. And I haven't been able to get on camera since, well, until today. So how did he do? Were there jitters? Did he surprise us? To me, it was somewhere in the middle, as he was good. So here's the stat line for him in his first NHL game, just the one in Toronto. 1 shot on goal, 3 hits, 1 block, and 14 minutes and 28 seconds of ice time. In my expectations video, I said he's going to play between 9 and 16 minutes, I believe. He's not going to get any power play time. He's not going to get any PK time either. And what I wanted to see is if he could be physical enough. Now, that's the one thing that he wasn't at the AHL level. He was not a physical or a mean defenseman, if you will. And could he add that to his game as he transitions to the NHL level? And look, he said before the game, I'm a physical defenseman. I have no problem using my body. And I was like, well, I don't see that at the AHL level, but I hope to be proven wrong. So did he do what we expected from him? And did we see what we wanted to see from him in that first game? So in terms of the 9 to 16 minutes, check, he got 14 and a half. Did he get power play time? No, that's another check. Same thing with the PK, none of that. And that's fine. We want him to focus on 5-on-5. You get that foundation well, you can add some special teams play later. In terms of the physicality, was he physical enough? Absolutely. And again, when I mean physical, I'm not talking about Scott Mayfield cracking ribs. I'm talking about imposing yourself physically upon your opponent. And he is a physical specimen. Samuel Bolduc is 6'4", 220 pounds. Like, you have a tool at your disposal, which is your frame. Use it, and he did. Now, he's credited with 3 hits in the game, but I wanted to focus on these 2. There's this first one here where he makes a play along the boards. It's not like he's crushing the player, but he's letting him know, I am here, and I'm going to finish my check. That's what I have to do. And then there's the second one here at the offensive blue line. He steps up on a guy and says, I'm going to try to take you out of the play because I don't want it going the other way. And while that could be dangerous in some situations, it worked out for him. He figured out when was the appropriate time to do such a move, which is great to see in your first NHL game. Now, there's a few other things that I wanted to highlight from Samuel Bolduc's first NHL game. And the first one was his shot. And really what I mean by that is not how he shoots the puck, but the fact that he did shoot the puck. And while there is a little bit of a how, it's just he was taking wrist shots rather than a big booming slap shot. And Matt had a great tweet displaying or pointing out, that's the word I'm looking for, pointing out that Samuel Bolduc relies more on his wrist shot than he does on his slap shot. And for a good reason, as Matt points out. And he's absolutely right. You watch his games at the AHL level, and you're not seeing a guy wind up like crazy every 2 seconds to take a slap shot. He'll do it, but he relies more on placing that wrist shot and releasing it quickly.
One here, Fashing and Coimbra. Coimbra over the line, has Rondo in front, and he had his stick slashed. They score! A penalty was coming up, but they score.
You can see it here from the point, gets it on stick, boom, right towards the net. Now, he's not credited with a shot on goal because there's some traffic there, but it doesn't necessarily matter that much. You're putting it towards the net. That's all that matters at that point. You've got no one in front of you, go, do it. Why the heck not? The other thing that I noticed was that he didn't panic under duress. And what I mean by that isn't necessarily when he's got a player on him, but it's when he's in a panic situation, he's not actually panicking. Now, the play here, you'll see he goes towards the boards to get the puck, but his stick gets caught in the dasher. But instead of just like, oh my god, I panic, and he just throws it in front of him as anyone would normally do, he throws it behind him because he realizes there's no one back there. So if I'm in danger, I'm going to relieve that danger by sending it backwards instead of forward where there are 2 Maple Leafs waiting. The possibility of an interception is much larger in front of him than behind him. And it's away from net as well, so like, better safe than sorry, just send it back there. Now, his game wasn't perfect. That guy who now plays for Toronto, I don't need to say his name, went right by him seemingly easily, and that guy isn't necessarily the fleetest of foot skater ever, And so you see Samuel Bolduc was kind of caught flat-footed there. And that happens. And later, the Toronto Maple Leafs would eventually score because of that zone entry. So it's not to say that Samuel Bolduc is responsible or at fault for that goal that Toronto eventually scored. It just, that zone entry allowed them to eventually work themselves into a goal-scoring position that they capitalized on. So kind of a knock there on him, but it's not the end of the world. They make mistakes like this, and there's a lot of time that passed between that mistake and when the goal went in. So there's a few other Islanders players that could have done something to prevent that goal. It's not just on Samuel, but there's a little bit of a knock for that one specific play. So overall thoughts, I give him like a B. He was very much an MDC on the night. And what I mean by that is he wasn't a net negative. He didn't do a whole lot to push the game in a winning direction for the Islanders, but it didn't cost them the game either. And that's exactly what you want for a kid skating in his first NHL game. You want him to look comfortable, and you want him to look like he belongs. And Samuel Bolduc did both. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. And if you have already, or just about to do it, thank you, thank you, thank you.